Hey there everybody, well today we are at Lexington Green where the first major engagement between the Americans and the British happened. Now I'm sure you've heard the whole story of Paul Revere before, but just in a nutshell, Paul Revere was sent to warn the countryside that the British were on the move. Oh, and by the way, he did not go around screaming the British are coming, the British are coming. They probably would have looked at him like he was an idiot if he had done that. They probably would have been like, yeah, of course we're all British. One thing that's not commonly said is that there are actually more than one writer. You know, it wasn't just Paul Revere. He just got famous because there was a big old poem written about him. And he's also a decent guy too, you know, silversmith, blah, 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 dentist. I don't think I'd be going to be a dentist though. I mean, oh my God. The poor miserable sap who usually gets left out of the whole story is William Dawes, because he was the second writer that night, but he didn't have a famous poem written about him. Revere had two main objectives. The first one was to come here to Lexington to warn Samuel Adams and John Hancock that the British were on the move. The second thing that Revere was supposed to do, which he did get a chance to because he ended up getting caught, the second thing he was supposed to do was he was supposed to ride onto Concord and warn them that the British were actually, you know, heading their direction. So General Gage, all the way over there in Boston, just about probably, I guess maybe, what, 20 miles away, something like that, he learned that Hancock and Adams were hiding out here. So he thought, you know what, that's on the way to where we need to go anyway, so we'll kill two birds with one stone and get Hancock and Adams and put them into custody and then move on to the next destination, which was supposed to be Concord, which is just about 5 or 6 miles up the road. So as far as what took place on this land right here, what ended up happening is whenever Paul Revere got here, he warned Hancock and Adams to, you know, take off, but, you know, they refused to do so until a little bit later. And he warned, you know, everybody around here that there was, you know, soldiers heading this direction. So Captain John Parker, he and about 70 other militiamen began to gather at Buckman Tavern. And they waited and waited and waited some more. There's an old myth that they were, you know, in Buckman Tavern getting all like drunk and everything. I highly doubt it. I'm sure they had like, you know, a little bit of something to just sort of calm the nerves, but I don't think they were getting plastered because, you know, if you're going to be fighting against, you know, however many British soldiers heading this direction, I don't think you want to do so completely drunk. At least I wouldn't, but I'm a good boy. And who knows where those bullets would end up going, because I'd probably end up shooting myself. Yeah, I'm that clumsy. I actually tripped 2 times on the way over here. So we are standing right where Captain John Parker and their 70 militiamen kind of lined up shoulder to shoulder. And, you know, they had zero clue as to like how many men to actually expect. Pretty sure they were hoping for like a small number, but what ended up appearing over the horizon was over 700 British soldiers. Now, I've been a history teacher for a while, definitely can't do math. So, but even I know that 700 against 70 is not exactly a good thing. So there is a major standoff between the two sides. Pitcairn of the British regulars, he orders the regulars to drop their arms. In fact, he says something like, you know, drop your arms, you damn dirty rebels, or something like that. Or maybe that's like a Planet of the Apes thing. No, wait, it was disperse, ye damn rebels. Now, Captain Parker and the 70 militiamen, they were not stupid. They knew that they were going to get massacred. They knew it was going to be a suicide mission. So they were doing the most rational thing and getting ready to actually leave. And that is when something happened that is still a mystery to this day. Somewhere around here, we don't know exactly where it came from, but somebody fired off a shot. We don't know whether it was a British soldier, whether it was a militiaman, whether it was just somebody like standing on the sidelines. So with all the tension of the day and everything that built up to it, when they heard that shot, all of a sudden everybody became kind of trigger happy. The battle that actually took place here only lasted just a few seconds. Like the British soldiers were told to regroup almost immediately, but it was enough to kill off 7 of the militiamen here. So we've officially made it to Concord, which is maybe like 5-6 miles up the road from Lexington. And behind me you will see the Old North Bridge, which is sort of an iconic symbol in our history. And that dude wasn't on there back then. And he won't leave. He's just standing there, staring at me. So like I said a little bit earlier in the video, Concord is where the arms and ammunition were being storehoused by the militias. Now right here at this location where we're standing, this is where the militias had gathered. You know, throughout the night, Paul Revere, William Dawes, and other riders have been warning the countryside to send militias to Concord. And so they all gathered right here. So about the time that the British arrived, there were maybe about 400 or so militia members here already. Now these guys are all gathered here. There's a lot of debate about what to do, like, you know, do they march on Concord, do they stay put? But anyway, off over in the direction of Concord, they begin to see smoke. And they're like thinking that everything is being burnt down and that like the whole town is being like torched. So there was a big standoff here, much like in Lexington, and there was a lot of like yelling and taunting from across the bridge, from the British soldiers to the colonials and the colonials to the British soldiers. And at one point the British soldiers, you know, started to get on the bridge and they started ripping up the bridge, you know, to prevent the militia members from being able to cross it. And that made matters even worse because now we're talking property damage. So I mentioned when we were talking about Lexington that there was a shot fired and nobody knows exactly who actually fired it. Well, here we know who fired the first shot, and it was a British soldier. So with that first shot being fired, of course all heck broke loose here. And you had, you know, a little battle raging right here where we're standing. And thus began like basically like a running chase all the way back from Concord to Lexington and all the way to Boston. As a result of what happened here and what happened at Lexington, it became apparent to everybody that it was going to be almost impossible not to go to war with Great Britain. That's why Ralph Waldo Emerson, whenever he wrote the Concord Hymn, he referred to this as the shot heard around the world, because in reality, you know, the American Revolution wasn't just a Great Britain versus America thing. It was really a worldwide event. As you can see, the sun is, I'm starting to lose my voice. As you can see, the sun is setting behind me, and I guess that means I got to get on out of here. So anyway, I hope you learned a little something along the way between our trips from Lexington to Concord. I totally suggest that you get out here and visit these sites yourself, although I prefer it in the fall because it's absolutely stunning with all the fall leaves changing and everything. It's just gorgeous here. But anyway, it's a personal preference, I guess. So anyway, feel free to check out my other videos on whatifmylandadventures.com. Like the video, share it, and all that stuff. So take care, and I'll see you next time.